Hi guys, Ray here, City Fan TV. City just beating United 2-1 in the FA Cup final down at Wembley. I'm just watching on TV now, BBC there. Fans having a great time. Bernardo Silva, what can you... Not even Bernardo Silva, Ilkay Gundogan. Let's get the big man right. Ilkay Gundogan, look, I did a thing with Mike from Bolt from the Blue and Bernard Deneen, a big YouTube star, Bernard. And we were talking about which players should stay or which should we extend contracts to or who don't we mind leaving. We looked at 5 players. When we talked about Ilkay Gundogan, we said Ilkay Gundogan, City should be pulling out all the stops, and then some more to make sure Ilkay Gundogan stays at Manchester City. And today's performance and other performances this season and the last game against Aston Villa last season when we came from 2-0 down, he came off the bench, scored 2 goals and we won 3-2, won the league last season, okay? Ilkay Gundogan is a guy, incredible guy, and Captain Fantastic, as I've called him in this video. He scored 2, well, the first goal after 12 seconds was an incredible finish, a wonderful finish, okay? Superb volley. It was beautiful. Guys, if you haven't seen it, and why not go and watch that? It was a great goal. Second goal that he scored, okay, didn't hit it as cleanly. When he hit it, I thought, nah, it's not a great shot, is it? But it somehow found its way through. De Gea was a bit late going down, and it went into the net. He pushed it in. It was going in anyway, but he got his hand to it, and it just still went in. City players, watching it now on TV, Gundogan on top of Edison. Edison's holding him up like a bottle of champagne almost. They're having such a good time. City fans enjoying it. Oh, guys, I would have loved to have been there. Sadly, I said on the team news show, my mum's not well. I had my ticket, and last night I decided probably not, best not to go, but I've got a mate calling me up now. People calling me up to congratulate me. Let's send that off. I'll call him back later. Let's see if I can just do a decline on me. There you go. So, yeah, KDB saluting the fans. All the players are out clapping the fans. Pep's with Foden. I mean, Foden only came up for 3 minutes at the end in place of KDB. You can see, I guess that was Liam Gallagher having a good time. Yeah, look, City got done the double. City have done the double. Johnny Stone's having a good time. Everybody having a good time. I tell you what, no one's on the channel today. Well, there's a lot of people watching, but no comments. But guys, if you are new to the channel, please subscribe. Help us to get to our target of 1,200 subscribers by the end of the season. There's only one more week to go this season, so let's try and get there. And let's see if we can not get to 1,500 by the start of next season. I can only do it with you guys, and only do it for you guys, really. I mean, it's not an ego boost for me. It's fun to interact with fans. I've been doing this since, 2018, 5 years now. I've been in the YouTube channels, various channels for 5 years. Look, what a game. I mean, let's be honest. Let's be honest. I've got a lot of stuff written down and made some notes, as you do, trying to look like I've been actually paying attention. But that game, City pretty much outclassed Man United. For the last 10, 12 minutes or whatever it was, they sent on Weghorst. That's how inept, that is how impotent, that's how impotent United really were today. They didn't really offer much. They relied on, as usual, they relied on maybe a City mistake. They relied on maybe a bit of luck. They relied on just pumping that ball into the box and hoping for the best. And that's all they did. It's a shame that we only beat them 2-1 because that first 10 minutes, we could have been 2-0 up. Let's go through this, okay? Look, Gundogan scores a goal after 12 seconds. I mean, that's the quickest goal in FA Cup final history. Start off, kick-off, ball passed back to Ortega Moreno in goal. He launches it forward. I think he took a couple of touches and launched it forward. Haaland knocks it on. He's out on the right. He knocks it on towards KDB. I think one of the United players, Lindelof, got his head to it or something, and it bounced off KDB. And it just sat up for Ilkay Gundogan, who was unmarked. Superb. Sumptuous volley. he hit it so sweetly, so unerringly, and it had that just little bit of the on the outside of his boot, so it just curled away. I mean, De Gea had no chance. It was right in the corner. De Gea was, it was just a statue. A couple of minutes later, we had the Rodri header. So there was a foul. KDB got free kick out on the right. KDB put it in. A lot of players coming towards the far post, but Rodri came towards the near post. It would have been 20 yards out, and he headed that. Again, De Gea was a statue. He didn't move at all. And unfortunately, it went past the post and hit the side netting, and obviously the City fans thought we'd scored. I mean, that would have been incredible. That would have been just superb. And I think from then on, we would have smashed United. We'd have ripped them to pieces, because no one's coming back from 2-0 down against City. So, but let's talk about some other important points, because I repeat, City outclassed United for the majority of this game. United were a poor second best. Sadly, that 2-1 scoreline doesn't reflect the dominance for large periods that City had in that game. So we had some contentious decisions coming up. We had, so that first 8 or 10 minutes, all City United struggling to even get any sort of foothold into the game. And we had this foul by Casemiro on Akanji. Now, they both went in for the ball, and Casemiro basically put his studs, I think, on the shins of Akanji, and then went down onto his ankle. Now, they actually looked at this for a red card, but actually it was a foul by Casemiro. And then after he'd made the foul, he dived to one side and, screamed out and pretended that he was the injured party. That's dirty cheating. That's conning a referee. And that, sorry, FA, Premier League, well, it's not Premier League, but it's FA, all the interested parties should be, forgive the pun, stamping down on that, because that was disgusting. Not only did Casemiro foul him, for me it was dangerous. I would have given a red card for that, because you've caught the guy on his shin. Okay, you had no intention of getting the ball. If you've got no intention of getting the ball, your foul should count double. You had no intention of getting the ball. He kicked the guy on his shin and went and down and basically stamped on his ankle. That, for me, was a red card. If it wasn't a red card enough, the feigning of injury to win the free kick, and he did. Casemiro won that free kick. That was disgusting. It was terrible from the ref. I can understand the ref was conned, okay? They went to VAR. VAR can't say, actually, overturn the free kick. It should be a yellow card against the player, okay? VAR was a joke, Mark. Yeah, cheers, mate. Yeah, well, look, VAR for the free kick, this is the problem. For that Casemiro tackle, okay, that foul, the VAR will only look to see, was it worth a red card? They can't overturn the decision of the free kick United's way, which is ridiculous. So they're looking at it, and they're actually going to look at it and say, well, actually, this guy, they can see what happened. They know it's a City free kick. We don't get the free kick, okay? Casemiro doesn't get the red card. Okay, let's keep going. So I'll talk about the handball, because that's a major contentious issue, obviously. Now, again, VAR gets the call right, and this is the problem. It's the rule that's wrong. All VAR, the referee and the assistant referees are doing, all that they are doing is applying the law, the rules of the game, the rules of football. That's all they're doing. The rules of football mean that header from whoever it was it Wan-Bissaka, onto Grealish's arm, it's a penalty. That's the rules. That's the laws of the game. That's the rules of the game, okay? So even though it was wrong, because as everybody said, what can Grealish do in that moment? He's jumped up to head the ball, okay? He's not headed it. He's in the air. His arms are going to be out, okay, to help himself land, okay? Help control your landing. If you dive, jumping up with your arms by, you can't jump up with your arms by your side. And if you're jumping up like that, you have no control as to, or little control as to how you land. So he jumps up, and Wan-Bissaka heads the ball. Grealish is probably not even looking the right way at looking at the ball, because he's jumped up. He's trying to control his landing, and the ball hits him on his arm. He's very close to Wan-Bissaka, who headed the ball. For me, that's not a penalty. If we got a penalty like that, you'd have said it was lucky. It was very fortuitous. So United were very lucky to get the penalty, and then obviously Bruno Fernandes scores that goal. Let me go through some other points. Okay, so it was great to see Stones stepping into midfield again. And in fact, he was going up top as well. Not up top, but he was helping the attack. So at times, like he was like an attacking midfielder. He was going into their box. I mean, it's a wonderful role when you've got this freedom to be able to do that. So Stones basically was like a box-to-box midfielder. He was like, forgive me here, he was like Yaya Toure going from box to box until Stones in the second half tried to have that shot, belted it, miles over. Overall, I think Haaland held the ball up better than he normally does. At the start, I don't think he was particularly good, but then after that, I think his hold-up play was pretty decent. And after being well on top of the first 10 minutes, the next 10 minutes, 10 to 20 minutes, City kind of slowed it down. I don't like that. I said it before, it was like the first 10 minutes we were playing at home, where we were attacking, where we were aggressive. And the next 10 minutes we were playing away, where we were more defensive, more cautious, just passing the ball around, tippy-tapping it. I don't like that, because I think if we carry on being aggressive and attacking the opposition, we will get that second, possibly third goal. Game is over. Okay? And it was also very noticeable that the City fans were the noisiest. The first 20 minutes, you could only hear City fans. That's it. When United got the ball, City fans were booing them, and that's all you could hear, which it's fantastic from the City fans, especially since it's probably more United fans there than City fans, because you've got each club would got about 30,000 tickets. And then you've got Club Wembley, which I can't remember how much that is, 12 to 20,000. A fair chunk of them, I suspect would be United fans. It's in London, obviously. City fans mostly are coming from Manchester. Man United fans, yes, they've got a few up in the north, but they're all over the place. A load of them are down in London. So you'd have expected more Man United fans than City, but City made the most noise. City fans made the most noise. Okay, some other good stuff. On 20 minutes, Haaland turns Varane, strikes over, but then he shoots over. I think he slipped when he was having the shot. A couple of minutes later, KDB, a great run. I think he had 3 or 4 players on him. He was shrugging them off, but then he just kind of ran out of steam. He could have passed it to Haaland, but I think it just took too long. Now, going back to the Grealish handball, United were not in that game. United were not in the game at all. And that Grealish handball, that allowed United to get into a game that they didn't deserve to be in. Yeah, they didn't deserve to be in that game at all. But that penalty, that ridiculous penalty, it's the rules of the game that are the problem, not the VAR. They're just implementing the rules. But they were not in that game at any level, Man United, and then they were back. My notes say City were taking it too easy, and I don't like that. We were, as I said, taking it far too easy. Sadly, I've got to mention this. I think Dougie, did you mention it on Twitter, Dougie? That whatever looked like a green light or something was thrown at the United players once they'd scored, because they came over to the City end. That was a mistake of theirs, but they came over to the City end. But, whatever the players do, you should not be reacting. Whoever threw that object should be singled out, caught, and banned from football, because it's not on. It's not. You just can't do stuff like that. Okay. Then after about 35 minutes, I said Grealish has done nothing in this game. It was. I'm amazed that he's lasted so long, because he was not an outlet going forward. Okay, the attacks were coming on the right from people like KDB, Bernardo Silva. We had a decent game. But he made a few too many mistakes for me. But nothing was happening on Grealish. Nothing. Omar Abdurrahman, I'm totally happy with the win. Totally happy. I don't say he's confused. We were miles better than United, but I'm sorry, Pep. He's doing stuff for whatever reason. He can't. He's won. How'd you question him? But no way. 35 minutes. I said Grealish has done nothing. He's done nothing in this game. Okay, he's not an outlet to pass the ball to hold the ball up, and so what's he contributing? I don't think he did anything for me, and that obviously that handball didn't help. Going back to the referee, look, we talked about the Casemiro foul on Akanji, which should have been minimum yellow card, if not a red card. He got away with that, and a few other fouls. Fred had to foul 3 times before he got a booking, which is ridiculous, because I think each of his 2 previous bad fouls deserved a booking. He could have been sent off, but he got away with it, and I think that's too generous of the referee. Okay, and there's a foul by Fred on KDB where he put his on KDB where he put his leg across him when he was coming into the box. he didn't get the ball and he hit KDB. So it should have been a penalty. And it wouldn't have even been soft because you've impeded the other player. You were not getting the ball. You didn't get the ball. And you've impeded KDB from getting to the ball. So that, for me, should have been a penalty. I think a lot of the pundits agreed with that as well. Other notes, in that first half, City's passing wasn't as good as it normally is. And Varane missed a good chance on the volley towards the end of the first half. Now, second half, there was a cracking cross very early on from KDB within the first 5 or 10 minutes of the second half starting. Brilliant cross. And two players came in. They just couldn't get there. Grealish was outside the box. Grealish should have been steaming in at the far post. He'd have got to tap him. That's one of the reasons Raheem Sterling scored a lot of goals for City was he was getting a lot of tap-ins coming in at the far post, tapping it in. Grealish should have been there. As I said, he did nothing for me. Very, very disappointed. Then we got the Gundogan goal. Now, we got this corner. KDB, you could see him. The pundit said it as well. You could see KDB looking at Gundogan. He had a quick glance at Gundogan, who was on the edge of the box. No United player came out to mark him. They just left him totally free. And they're just going to get the medals now. He left him totally free, and he left-footed it from the edge of the box. Wasn't the cleanest of connections, but it went, I think it bounced between two United players and into the corner. De Gea got his hand to it, but I think he should have done a little bit better. They were very generous with De Gea and said he didn't see it or he saw it very late. I think he should have done better. He got his hand on it. He needed a much firmer hand and to push it outside the other side of the post. He couldn't do that. So that was great. Again, I'm looking at this. My notes, Fred escapes the booking again. Ridiculous. KDB was through, but he had, I think, 1-on-1-ish, going a bit wide. But he had a poor shot. And then Grealish with a poor foul in the box on Varane. So he, we had a bit of luck as well. But Grealish, nothing for me. Really, really poor. Then they took Eriksen off. He was... he didn't have, I said before the game, he didn't have the legs. He did nothing. Just going to watch Gundogan lift that cup. They're doing the woes, getting ready. He's got it in his hands, kissing it. Hopefully it's not his last game in England. He's got the cup there. They're all doing the woes. Yes! City, do it again. Win the FA Cup for the second time under Pep in 7 seasons. Gundogan nearly had a hat-trick. He had a goal chalked off for offside. It was a little bit lazy for him because... I think Grealish got the ball to Haaland. Haaland had a shot. He pulled it back to Haaland. Gundogan was already offside. He didn't bother to get back onside. He was half a yard off. He could have stepped onside. He could have stepped onside if he carried on coming back. And he would have still got the ball first and scored. I mean, first hat-tricks for about 70 years or something, or more, maybe even more in the FA Cup final. Garnacho came on. I think he came on for Eriksen, who had done nothing in the game. And Garnacho actually... causes some problems. Sancho had done nothing really. Eriksen had done nothing. I think Garnacho is going to be there for United. I think he's an important player. So I was pleased actually and surprised that he wasn't starting above Sancho because I don't think Sancho really has got a future at United. There's too many players ahead of him. There's Rashford who did nothing, but Garnacho did well. If United go out and get Mason Mount, if they go out and get a striker, and they've got Anthony there as well. What does that do for Sancho? Where does he fit in? He doesn't, in my opinion. But hey, they were rubbish. We don't care. 76 minutes was when Foden came on. And in the last minute, in injury time, they had this free. Was it a free kick? I remember the ball got played back and it was crossed in. Mad scramble in City's box. Mad scramble. And I don't know who it was through onto Ortega. He came out, blocked it. On the preview show, I think it was a United fan on the Team News show, who said it'll be 2-2 and United will win on penalties. And as he went through, I thought, no way. Because I didn't ridicule him, but I said, I don't want it to be 2-2. But Ortega was big. He got that block. And I think Rodri got a touch when there's another chance to head it. I think he got in there as well. We put it out for a corner. So very, very good. Hey, Alex, job is done. Let's see. So Foden should play the Champions final. Notice a real... Yeah. Foden is hungry. Foden is... And it's up to Pep. If Pep wants to be cautious, he'll pick Grealish again. But for me, Foden... Grealish hasn't played the last 2 games. This is why I don't like players not playing. Okay, Grealish didn't play the last 2 games. For me, he was not a City player today. He was not worthy of being a City player. You know, he put in one of the worst performances from City today. I mean, Haaland wasn't great. I'll agree with that. But Grealish was very, very poor. Very, very poor. Haaland did some good stuff. I mean, I'll give Haaland some credit. He did some good stuff in holding the ball up. But, hey, you want the guy to score. And he didn't do that. So that's 1 goal in 7 games for Haaland, which is why I say don't miss out on games. Have to improve. I think we will. I think we'll get back into get a bit of our mojo back, but we need to step up. Job is done. 1 more left. Loads of calls coming through. Everybody wants to chat. Grealish was poor for me. The main thing is we won. Let's be honest about that. You know, we said before the game that all that matters is City winning. It doesn't matter how it's done. Obviously, we would like to spank United, you know, kick them into the middle of next week. And to be honest, we could have done that. We had the chances. We had the opportunities. As I said, you know, the Rodri header that went wide, KDB that when he went through. Haaland had a couple of shots, I think, 1 wide, 1 high. Other people had opportunities. No, they're not great chances, some of these, but we had a lot more control of the ball, a lot more control of the game. United, they resorted to long balls. They resorted to just heaving it up there, hoping for a bit of luck. I mean, that's the golfing class. That City play it around, take our time, are very patient, passes here and there and everywhere, short passes, long passes. We tried to create an opportunity, and United are just hitting and hoping, relying on luck, and that's the golfing class between the two sides. And regardless of what some pundits say, United will get or anybody says, even fans say United will get a striker and another midfielder or whatever, and another defender, and they'll be challenging for the title. I just can't see it. If City play, I said if City play on the top of their game, they win. City didn't play on the top of their game today. I'd say 7.5 out of 10 overall, but we win. If Haaland had Kane shooting, I think we're looking at... Well, look, this is why people say, you know, Kane would have scored more goals at City than Haaland, and I think this season it's a possibility. But look, we've scored 150 goals this season in all competitions in, was it 60, 61 games? You go back to Manuel Pellegrini, I think his first title, we scored, was it 169 goals? Yeah. So Pep's not got this monopoly on goal scoring. You know, we scored tons of goals with other people. We scored tons of goals under Manuel Pellegrini. So 150 goals is great. And here I am feeling a little bit, not shortchanged, but disappointed, because we've got Haaland now. We've got this team. I think we should be scoring more. Okay. I think the difference is we're not spanking teams when we're well ahead like we used to. But hey, you know, that's me just being maybe a bit churlish, maybe a little bit too greedy. I always want more. I always want a little bit more. Scott Carson there, Edison with the lid of the FA Cup on his head, having a good time. Hey guys, if anybody is new to the channel, anybody watching right now, please subscribe. It costs you nothing to subscribe to the channel. We are trying to get to about 1,200 by the end of the season, so we need about 10 subscribers to get to 1,200. Would be fantastic if you guys could help us to get to 1,200. I'm looking at, we've got 1,192, so we're 8 subscribers short. So please, guys, please think about subscribing. It's I'm knackered. It's it's mentally tiring, these games against United, because the sad thing is, the reality is we are a far better side than them, but we allow the games to be too close. We do, but we spanked them first time we played them this season, and you know, letting them score 3 was a bit embarrassing actually, because we should have beaten them by even more, and we shouldn't let them score those 3 goals. Second game, I think we were the better side, but they beat us, and that's happened far too often, where we finished, 15 points, 14, 15 points ahead of United this season. We are that much better than them, and we allowed them time and time again to either beat us or get close in games. This should not have been a close game. I mean, okay, it was close partly because of that ridiculous handball decision, but this should not have been a close game. I'm just watching it. I'm watching to see if Ilkay Gundogan's his emotions, because his emotions on the pitch now will maybe give an indication as to whether he's going to stay. Just watching, he's on just outside the edge of the D. On the I mean, Peter Schmeichel saying that De Gea's positioning was wrong, and if he was basically where Peter Schmeichel said he should be, he saves that. He saves that. But I'm just watching it all angles and watching the City fans as they realise it's going in. And oh yes, everybody goes up. Ilkay Gundogan raises his arms in delight, and the City fans behind the goal jumping up and down. Look, Ilkay Gundogan, man of the match. How can City let him go? As I said earlier in the show, we talked about this a few weeks ago with Bernard and Mike. How can City afford to let him go? He's just too good. He really is just too good. He's, we talk about age, but look, the guy did it for us last season. He did it for us last season, and he's done it so many times for us this season. Age really shouldn't come into it. I think he's 32. I'm just going to check his age. So he's 32. He'll be 33 in October. That's nothing really. Honestly, it really is. This season, okay? This season, let's have a look. Let's get his stats up. I think his stats haven't been updated for this season. No, here we go. He's played 31 times in the league this season. 31 times. He scored 8 goals. That's 1 goal every 4 games. That's a pretty decent record. That's just in the league. Just in the league, okay? League Cup, he played a couple of times. FA Cup, obviously he's played 4 times now, I think, in the FA Cup. He's played 3 times in the FA Cup, scored 2 goals. I'm not worried so much about them. Europe, I'm not so worried. He played 12 times, scored 1 goal. But his overall record this season, I think, he's played 50 games for City. He's scored 11 goals. That's 1 in 5. That's pretty decent. He's getting a good return. Each season he's played a good chunk of games. Apart from his first season where he only played 10 league games, played 16 in total. Second season, 30 league games, 4 goals. Third season, 31 league games, 6 goals. Next season, 31 league games, only 2 goals. Next season, 28, only 28 games, but he bagged 13 goals in the league. Last season, 27 games, 8 goals. This season, 31 games and 8 goals. And I suspect he's one of in our list of top scorers this season, he must be well up there in the league, because I'm sure he's got more than Grealish. Mahrez might have more than him, and then Haaland and Alvarez possibly as well. But Gundogan's up there in our top. I suspect our top 5 goal scorers this season. He's always doing it. They're just showing that handball again. It's ridiculous, the rule, and it has to be for the good of football. That rule has to change. It absolutely stupid. It really is absolutely stupid that they give a penalty. But what could the guy do? Where else can he put his arms? As I said it before. It's a ridiculous rule. It's a ridiculous law or whatever, and it has to. And I think Gary Lineker said he's heard that they're going to alter the law. They have to. I have to have some common sense. Might not be the right word to use. I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to take the subjectivity out of it and make it an objective yes or no. Like offside is yes or no. Yeah, goal line technology, yes or no. They're trying to make everything yes or no decisions. Okay, and I understand that, but handball, that wasn't in no way was that, should that have been a penalty. And as I said, if we'd got a penalty for that, I'd have said we were very, very lucky indeed. I'm just watching some of I think this is towards the end. Rashford did nothing. I'm just watching this build-up play. Rashford's outside the box. He had one rasping drive, but from outside the box, which actually swerved it went towards Ilkay Gundogan, and then it swerved away from him. So if that had been a little bit lower, just a little bit, I think that's a goal, because I think that the swerve would have beaten Ilkay Gundogan. But guys, City win by 2-1. City win the FA Cup. We are double winners. So look what we've achieved this season. We've won the Premier League title by 5 points. I mean, it was a bit disappointing. Here's me again. I'm disappointed we only won by 5 points because we could have won that by double numbers, double digits. So we won the league title. We won the FA Cup. We had double winners. We won 3 leagues on the bounce. And now we're looking at historic treble. I tell you what's extra historic about if City get the treble. They won the league. Okay. Yeah. At the end, it was at a canter. We got 89 points. United in 1999, they got 79 points. Okay. So that's 10 points. 10 points difference. Okay. 38 games, United got 79 points. They had a goal difference of 43. They won it by 1 point from Arsenal. We've won it by 5 points. Okay, we won it by 5 points this season. So I think the league campaign, however, whichever way you want to look at it, the league campaign is better for City. Okay, we had a goal difference of 61, whereas United's was 43. So that was great. So both ends of the pitch, I think, were better. And we got 89 points. We won 28 games. Okay, we won 28 games, which is fantastic. United, they only won 22 games. We won 6 more games than United. We go for it a little bit more. They scored 80 goals that season. 80 goals. We scored 94. So we're a much more attacking, aggressive. I think, well, not aggressive, but attacking side. We're a much better threat going forwards. I think overall we had better quality. We won the league by 5 points. We got 89 points. That's 10 more than United did when they won it. I think they were lucky to win the FA Cup that season. We were miles better than United this season. So that Champions League is going to be a bit of the difference. Ali, hope you're well, buddy. Guys, give us some thumbs up, give us some likes. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. The officials tended to lean towards Man Utd, but eventually the cream rose to the top. Absolutely. Thanks, Eagle. Yeah, I can't argue with that, mate. City were the best side by a long way, to be honest. United were relying on, that handball decision. No one would have really thought that was. No one in their right mind says that's a penalty. Okay, and then relying on Weghorst and long balls and luck and City mistakes. There was moments of build-up and quality from United, but they couldn't mount any sustained pressure. That was coming from City. As I said earlier, I still don't like this way where we take too long passing the ball around at the back. We're winning 1-0, and we seem quite content with that. And I understand it'll tie United. It's not the great spectacle when you're just passing it around at the back. But hey, bottom line is City won the game. That's all that mattered. Let's be honest, that's all that mattered. And we're double winners. I'm not as elated as normal. I think, if I was down there, yeah, I'd be jumping up. I'd still be in the ground. I'd be running around, jumping up and down, hugging fans. That's what you do. But it's a bit more subdued when you're watching it on your own at home. I don't think Ireland is consistently clinical, especially in the air, thinking he's just one goal to. Look, I said it before. That's why I thought he should have played a little bit against Brentford to give him a chance of scoring, because I think he needs to get that confidence back. I'm watching Garnacho play now. Garnacho was basically the only threat that United had, really. Everything else was, as I said before, I'll say it again, impotent. They didn't really offer much up front. That Garnacho shot, it needed some curl on it, but I think Ortega Moreno had it covered, but it needed some curl. I think he's going to be a player, or a bit. I'm not sure how good he can be. I haven't seen him enough, but watching him, he's getting into good positions. He's got good, quick feet. He's not overawed by who he's playing against. Was it he, the fellow that had a go at Bruno Fernandes for whinging? Wow, just looking at that Ortega save again. So the ball luckily comes through, and he just gets where he needs to be, gets his body in the way. And then I think Rodri gets his head on a goal bound shot. So Ortega gets, yeah. Actually, I thought it should have been our corner. Not our corner, a goal kick. So what it looks like happened was Ortega came out, it hit, he got a deflection, it spun up in the air, hit the crossbar. I think Stones was there trying to save it again, hit the crossbar, came back. I think Rodri headed it onto Weggis. That's what it looked like to me. They got a corner, which a little bit silly. But no, I'm knackered now after watching that. City, best team in the land, quite clearly. We're 7 away, guys. One more subscriber. Thank you for the last person to subscribe. We are now 7 subscribers away from 1,200. As I said, it'd be great to hit that before the Champions League final. Just watching that initial goal, big kick from Moreno. Haaland knocks it on. I think Lindelof knocked it onto KDB, and then KDB onto his head, and KDB, I'm just watching Haaland's build-up play, and KDB, and then Gundogan scored. Another chance there where Haaland just couldn't stretch enough. I'm not going to criticise him for that. I think he made his run and the ball didn't come through. Here's another one, Haaland. He turns Varane and goes through. 5 United players in his wake, and he just hits it over as he slips. Another one, the ball comes across from, I think it was from Grealish. He has a good shot, which De Gea saves, and Gundogan, who had put an initial cross in, just didn't come back. Let's put this on. Let's see what Guardiola is saying. Oh, hi, Harry. The tremble is still on. Tremble is still on. Pep's there talking to the guys on the BBC. Tremble's on, guys. On this channel, was it Akash who said it? One of the Akash who called it, instead of the treble, called it the tremble. But that's stuck now for the last 2 months or so. Look, Haaland was overall disappointing. You know, if I can get Bernard on tomorrow, we'll do some check his score ratings out. But I think Haaland was poor. I think Grealish was very poor. Gundogan was excellent. KDB was good enough. Defensively, we were overall very good, because if it wasn't for, there were a few moments, but if it wasn't for that ridiculous handball decision, then they wouldn't have scored. They wouldn't have scored at all. So they're just talking about Gundogan now. This might get me in trouble if you got too much audio on for copyright issues. You know, they might say, "Oh, you got this on in the background." They'll remove my video. Harry, I don't think Bernardo had a good game. That's I think he was mixed. I think I said that earlier. Mixed. He had some good bits of play. He worked well with KDB. I'll give him that. It was always available, which was good, but he had some bad touches as well. Again, I think I don't know if this can sound odd, because we're so good. Occasionally, we are playing too comfortably or too lackadaisical is possibly a bit strong, but we do these flicks and tricks that don't come off, that are no look kind of stuff, and they're kind of hopeful. And you should be doing that maybe if you're 3 or 4-0 up, taking, get onto the fancy mode, the Harlem Globetrotters of football kind of way to play, not when it's 1-1 or you're 1-0 up or stuff like that. You save the party tricks for another time. I don't know what's exactly what's. I saw something with Michael Richards. A lot of the fans, he's on telly now. Fans weren't happy that he's wearing a United top, and I think the consensus. I think that was because he lost a bet. But the problem with Richards for me is different. He's got a two hat. I mean, I loved him when he was at City. He's got two hat. I mean, he's one of the first. I've got a shirt with Richards on the back, but he's got too high of an opinion of his own ability. He's a good player. He's a good player, but he wasn't a great player. Okay, it was good when he was coming through, but he's not great. But the big thing for me, and then I'll move on, is he writes for the Daily Mail, fascist newspaper, and he's taking money from almost anybody. You offer him money, he'll take it. If he's writing for the Daily Mail, You know, I criticised him over that. He said, "Oh, this is when he was announced that he's going to write for them," and he said, "Oh, I'll check out everything." And but I think he's still doing it. I'm sorry, money grabbers, principles out the window chasing money. Look, if Daily Mail came to me and said, "We'll give you £100,000 a year to write a column for us," that's a lot of money. It's hard to turn down. I'd like to think I would have the gumption, I'd have the balls to turn it down. I think I would. I think I would. I hope so. Dre says, I'm actually glad that the win didn't come easy. Great way to lift the urgency and tension on the Champions League final. Yeah, well, it works both ways, Dre. It works both ways because in some respects, if we'd won 4-0, we could have taken players off. I'm just watching Stones in the box now. So just watching this. Stones coming into midfield to pick the ball up, edge of the box. Look at him turn. He turns. Was it Rashford? Okay. Fools two players and turns around and goes in the direction. Watching him now, he's picking the ball up in the final third, in the middle of the pitch. He has a shot. All right. He was in a great position because there was no one there. And he absolutely slammed it high and over. Good luck in the Champions League, says Eagle. Cheers, buddy. I think once again, City, if they play properly, we smash them. Just going to watch as this Stones coming to get the ball back. Well, John Stones is there and Grealish. John Stones, as they say, Gary Lineker said, what a performance, one of the stars of the show. You can't argue with that. John Stones was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. John Stones, great performance from him. You know, as I said, picking the ball up. Look, there's times he picks it up on the edge of the box, facing the wrong way, and turns and takes two players on. How can you do that on the edge of your own box? Other times, he's picking the ball up in the final third. Other times, he's in the box picking the ball up. Other times, he's chasing back, defending, making tackles, winning the ball back. It's an awesome performance from John Stones. And if Ilkay Gundogan hadn't scored 2 goals, I might have been leaning towards John Stones to give him that man of the match. He's phenomenal. Remember, so a few seasons ago, there was talk of him going to Spurs. And I think the talk was that I think it had all been agreed. It had all been agreed. John Stones is still only 29. Okay, it all had been agreed to go to Spurs. I think he was going to go on loan, and then with an obligation to buy or an option to buy for 20 million quid. 20 million quid. Very quickly, the following season, Stone said no. And it wasn't for footballing reasons. It's apparently for family reasons, because obviously Stone's born in Barnsley. He's played for Barnsley, then Everton, another northern team, and then Man City. So his family are all from the north. So I think that was apparently the reason that he didn't want to go to play for Spurs. But he's probably glad he didn't go, because Spurs are crap. They ain't going to win nothing. And what Stone's done in the intervening, 3 years, he's got 3 league titles. He's got an FA Cup. 3 league titles, an FA Cup, a chance for a historic treble with the Champions League coming up. He's been in the Champions League final. So he's won so much. He's won so much, John Stones at City, especially since he didn't go to Spurs. And at the time, I said, I don't want him to go. I don't want us to let him go, because I think he's too good. I think he's too good to let him go that cheaply. He needs to really stay, maybe go. I said, even go out on loan. Even go out on loan for a season, then come back. Because at the time, he needed games, he needed fitness, he needed consistency of playing games. Vincent Kompany, when he saw Stones and Laporte play together, he thought his days were numbered. That was his last season at City, because he thought these guys are the future. So it's great to see John Stones hitting the heights. And here's the thing. There were a lot of City fans who would have liked to see the back of John Stones 3 years ago. A lot of City fans, or a lot of vocal City fans. Where are they now? Now they're blowing smoke up his backside, saying he's one of the best in the world. That's how fickle some football fans are. The main difference between City and United, City have quality on the pitch and the bench, while United lack that on the pitch and not enough quality players on the bench. Look, City's bench wasn't the strongest today. It was a decent bench, but I wouldn't say it was reasonably strong. But I'm going to pull up that Let's see if I can pull up. Gundogan, all right. After the FA Cup final, Gundogan says nothing decided on his future. Let's have a. We're just having a chat with Gundogan. Listen to this. So they're asking him about his future. Yes, 7 years Pep's first signing, even though he was injured. Nothing is decided yet, is what he says. He's got to stay. I mean, Gundogan has to stay. We said this a few weeks ago. He's just far too good. He's far too good to let him go, basically, for nothing. He's going on a free. Someone's going to get his services. Now, look, if he leaves, I'll be bitterly disappointed. I won't be angry with him because, look, he's been here 7 seasons. He's won 5 league titles under Pep. Is that right? Yeah, he's won 5 league titles under Pep. He's won 4 League Cups, 2 FA Cups. If he wins his Champions League, finish on, with a 3-peat, finish with a historic treble. He's going to go with my best wishes, but I'll be gutted because I think he's got so much to offer. It might be that he wants 3 years, or he might want to change. For me, why don't you just play 2 more years under Pep? 2 more years, you're club captain, you're an integral part of the team. Why don't we play 2 more years under Pep? I think Pep will finish after 2 years. Play 2 more years. You'll be 34. Someone will still take you if you want to go to Spain. You can go to Saudi Arabia if you want to earn a lot of money. So many options. Right, guys, I think it's time to wind. And anybody new to the channel, please think about subscribing. Help us to get to a magical 12. Well, it's magical at the moment because you haven't got there. 1,200 subscribers. We're on 1193. We just need 7 more to hit 1,200 before the end of the season. That's great. Pep says now. Pep says now is the time to talk about the treble. It is 1 game away, and he's right. We are 1 game away. Was it Barcelona just won the Women's Champions League? They were 2-0 down, I think, at half time. They come back to when I last saw it was 3-2. Last 6 games, Gundogan has scored 6 goals and got 2 assists. What end to the season he's had. What an end to the season. Right, guys, a couple of things before I disappear. If you haven't seen it, the Premier League end of the year report, basically, on the league winners. I found it on Prime. I think it's on BT. One of my mates said it was on BT Sport. And I'm on there. I've got, I think, 3 very brief appearances talking about Pep and talking about City. I think it's 3 up, maybe 4 very brief appearances. So that was nice. And on Monday, I'll be on. I've been asked to be on Radio 5 Live on their Wake Up to Money program. The fact that it's Wake Up means it's going to be a very, very early. They've asked me. I think it's 5. The show starts at 5:05, so I think that's a 5 o'clock wake up call for me. Wake Up to Money to talk about finances, but obviously going to talk about football. They're actually getting me on from as a City Fan TV pundit, not to talk money, but to talk, because they didn't know I'm an accountant. I used to be, to talk about football in this game. So it's a big deal for City. The money isn't that much. We're going to win and get a little bit of money out of this. I don't know what the prize money is. It's chicken feed, really, to City. The prize money from the FA Cup. The big thing is the cachet. Double winners, potentially treble winners. That is incredible. It's so much to look forward to. Right, guys, I'm going to knock it on the head. Thanks so much for joining us. It's been brilliant. It's been brilliant to watch this win. Sorry, if you know what's been going on in my life, I'm a bit subdued. a lot of stuff going on. My mum's really, really ill. And, you know, I've got Champions League next weekend. She might not be here. So it's for all, you know, the good stuff that's going on. It's also a tough time. Enjoy, bask in the FA Cup glory that the lads have brought upon us. Make fun of United friends. Do it. I'm going to go and get in touch with my brother-in-law and see if he wants to have lunch tomorrow or something, or meet up tomorrow so we can talk. He won't want to talk about the football. I mean, in the last few seasons, in recent seasons, he's not talked much about football. A bit more this season, and that's kind of, you know, coincided with Man United being slightly better. So he's wanted to talk a bit more football, but maybe after today, he'll not be in the mood again. Guys, look after yourselves. I'm going to go and see my mum and see how she's doing in a little while. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you around Blues.